there are some things you leave long before you actually leave them. And I think that's what happened to me. For a quite long time, I knew something in my life didn't fit anymore. But I kept trying. I kept thinking maybe I just needed to change something. Maybe I needed some more support. Maybe I needed a different role. Maybe if this happened or that improved, I would feel differently. And I think part of me genuinely wanted it to work because I had given so much of myself to this chapter of my life, years of my life. I had built the teams, opened the things, fixed the things, solved problems, worked incredibly hard. And there were parts of it that I was really proud of. So walking away wasn't as simple as saying, I don't like this anymore. Because I did care. That's what made it very difficult. For a long time, I think I confused being good at something with it being right for me. And they are not the same thing. You can be capable, you can be trusted, you can be needed, you can even be successful, and still know somewhere quietly inside you that you don't want to build your life around this anymore. I think that's what I was slowly learning. Earlier this year, I kept trying to make things work. I tried different possibilities, different ways of working, different version of my future. And every time something changed, I would think, maybe this is the answer. But the feeling kept coming back. Not dramatically. Actually, it was very quiet. Just, I don't think I belong here anymore. And I didn't want to listen to it at first, because if I listened to it, then I had to do something about it. And then I started spending time somewhere completely different, with the animals at a wildlife hospital. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't some magical moment where I suddenly thought, oh, this is perfect. No, some shifts were exhausting, especially after 11 hours of my day job. There was a pressure, there were difficult things to see. There were moments when I didn't know what I was doing. Something was different. even after a difficult shift, I still wanted to go back. And that mattered because I started understanding that alignment doesn't necessarily feel easy. Sometimes it feels difficult but meaningful, and that's very different from something being difficult because you are constantly fighting yourself. Then July happened, and July changed me in ways I don't think I've completely understood yet. We lost Ash, and suddenly so many things I thought were important weren't. Not because work didn't matter, not because ambition didn't matter, not because money didn't matter, but because I suddenly understood something much more clearly. Life is happening while we are making all these plans. The ordinary morning, the person sitting next to you, the cat sleeping somewhere in the house, your child asking you to come and see something, the cup of tea, the conversation that goes nowhere, the evening when everybody happens to be home. Those aren't the things around life. They are life. And after that, I couldn't quite look at my own life in the same way. I started asking a different question. Not what job should I do next, but what kind of life do I actually want? And once I asked that, a lot of things became clear. I realized I don't want to build my entire life around work anymore. And then trying to squeeze the people I love into whatever energy is left. I don't want to constantly be recovering from my life. I don't want a success that looks good from the outside, but leaves me with nothing inside. I want meaningful work. I still want to grow. I still have enormous dream. Actually, maybe bigger dreams I've ever had. But now the dream has to belong inside the life I want, not consume it. And that's when something shifted. I stopped asking, how can I make myself fit this? And started asking, does this fit the life I am building? That question has changed so much for me. My career, my business, money, university, my family, even how I spend an ordinary afternoon. Because I am not only choosing what I want to achieve anymore. I'm choosing how I want to live while I am achieving it. And eventually, I handed in my notice. There wasn't a huge dramatic moment. No big speech, no perfect certainty about what happens next. I don't have everything figured out. I don't know exactly what job I will have next. I don't know exactly what my business will become. I don't know exactly how the next few years will unfold. But strangely, I don't feel lost. Because for the first time, I'm not choosing my next step based only on what looks sensible or secure or impressive. I'm starting with the life and then choosing what's belonging inside it. Maybe that's what saying goodbye really was. Not just leaving a job, not rejecting everything that came before, and definitely not saying those years were wasted. They weren't. They built me. They taught me. They showed me what I am capable of. They gave me skills I will carry into whatever comes next. And they were people and a moment from that chapter that I will always treasure. But something can have been right for you once and still not be right for the person you are becoming. I think I'm finally okay with that. Maybe growing isn't always about adding something new. Sometimes it's noticing what you've outgrown. Sometimes it's thanking an old version of your life and allowing it to end. Not because you failed, not because it was all wrong, but because you've learned what you needed to learn there. And now you know something you didn't know before. I know what I want my life to feel like. I want time. I want presence. I want meaningful work. I want animals. I want creativity. I want enough money to have choices. I want energy left for people that I love. And I want ordinary days that I actually get to be inside of, instead of constantly rushing through them towards something else. I don't know exactly what the life will look like yet, but I think that's okay, because maybe this chapter isn't about having the whole answer. Maybe it's simply about finally being brave enough to stop building a life I already know I don't want, and start building the one I do, quietly, one decision at a time. I finally said goodbye, and I think that's when something new really began.